All right, today's special guest, it's Mia.
It is Mia, yeah. Not everyone knows that.
Mia Rennie, born in Penrith, 2003. Your accolades are unbelievable here. You were the youngest in making the World Junior Championships. You debuted at 14, is that correct?
Yeah, I think, it would have been around 14.
And you still hold that record for the youngest?
Yeah, youngest to do a World Cup.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And so then you compete.
I could be fact-checked on that.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Let's say you were 13. By 17, you had already claimed the ANC Cup in Park and Pipe and represented Australia in multiple World Championships and World Cups, as well as the 2020 Youth Olympic Games. Despite top 10 and top 20 finishes in international Big Air and Slopestyle events, your career has been shaped by challenges, including, I've seen a few of your injuries, because I think you may have come in here with a movement once, far out.
Yeah.
But you've done so much, and we're going to get into that. And you're also great on all the different social media platforms as well.
Yeah, I'm trying.
TikToker, you're a bit of a TikToker, yeah?
Yeah, it's a new world to me, but I'm really enjoying it and trying to put my skiing online as well as in competition. I think that's what's cool about the sport is that it's a creative sport. It's a judge sport, so it's really entertaining for people to watch online or at a competition. There's different avenues you can take with it, for sure.
So, Miv, just the background story on you and how we met.
Yeah.
You know, I told you off camera, I was hosting a retreat in Thailand, and a good friend of ours, Tyron, said, mate, I need you to meet this girl. And I'm going, mate, mate, I'm just knocked out. And I ignored him. Then he put it on me when we got back to Sydney. Told me about your dad, and we'll get into your dad, and said the terrific work your dad done to help him as well. And then you came through the doors, and then I started looking at your social media and go, wow, this girl's a bit of a freak. And so how do you get into, free skiing? Like, it says you got into at the age of 3. Is your family a sporty family? Does everyone have to play, some sort of sport? Because, your dad's got a background in, cricket and playing for St. Mary's. How did it all start?
Yeah, so I definitely come from a sporty family. My dad played cricket for Australia from a young age. My mum, she enjoys sport. She's not very athletic herself, but she always supported what we wanted to do. And when my dad, he left cricket around 21 and went snowboarding and went away with mum, and they became ski instructors together in Canada. So they kind of just had a love for the mountains, adventure, being outdoors. And they had me, and we did a snow trip when I was about 4 years old. 3, 4, I don't remember it, to be honest. Fast forward a few years, I had my brother and my sister. So my sister's 6 years younger than me. So I reckon I was probably around 7 or 8, and we decided to start doing seasons. And we couldn't necessarily afford to go down all the time. So my parents did volunteer ski patrolling, so the on-snow aid and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And in return, we were given lift passes, accommodation, and rental gear. So we went down every weekend. My parents ski patrolled, and we were just left to roam and ski the mountain, go snowboarding, have fun, be outdoors, learn about sport and movement and how our body works. And we came back into the ski patrol room, ate lunch, and just went back out and did it again every winter for every week. It was a really cool way to grow up, for sure.
Wow.
So that's how I got into it.
So that's how you got into it. And, before you were talking about your brother going to Nebraska for basketball, so, you mentioned your family was like the Griswolds. You just go everywhere together. Was that a big part of your upbringing? Because, family dynamics very, very important, especially when it comes to sport and support. How did they shape sort of your life, your career? And you're only 22, which blows my mind away a bit. Because when I talk to you, there's a lot of maturity there. You can see a lot of ambition when I talk to you. Where does all that come from? Family,
definitely. I think people need teams and support, and I'm in an individual sport, but that doesn't mean you're ever alone. You've got your network behind you, and for me, my family is a massive team. We support each other in what we do. Like I said, my brother's playing basketball in America. He actually grew up snowboarding with me, so we competed. He did snowboarding, I did skiing, and one day he just had this massive growth spurt. Now he's like 6'8" playing basketball, and skiing tends to be quite a short person sport. So he grew out of it. He didn't have he loved snowboarding, it was incredible, but I don't think he had the passion for it the way that I did competitively, and now he's got this basketball world and he's thriving in it. It's amazing. So I had him alongside me, my little sister. She just is a little adventurer. She loved it. So we were always doing things together. We'd go away as a family, go skiing together. And my dad, he always says otherwise, but to me, he was like a coaching figure. You know, I always, even though he didn't technically know everything to the top level that needed to be known for skiing, he was always the one that made me feel comfortable and confident enough to push myself on snow. And I've always been quite a, I guess you'd say, gutsy person. I'm always the one that's going to jump off the highest rock at the rock jumps, and like I love skateboarding and surfing growing up and things like that. So when I went skiing and realized, when I think I was about 12, we went to Perisher on my birthday actually, and I saw that Perisher, the resort that I grew up at, didn't have a park. So we went to Perisher and there were jumps and rails and things, and that's when I was like, what the hell is this? Like, how do I do that? I want to do that. So my parents were like, oh God, she's going to do it no matter what. So let's just like help her do it. Otherwise she's just going to injure herself really badly. Yeah. So my dad helped me. He was always standing there on the sidelines and cheering for me. And same with my mum. She was always at the bottom waiting for me. And so for me, it was a team effort, and I did it with my family, which is really cool. We all support each other a lot.
Last week, you know, and this is what I'd like to get into, the mindset of individuals like yourself that are high performers, high achievers, that, you know, put a lot of pressure on themselves to perform, you know, on the highest stages. And I was talking to Sam Fricker last week, who's an Olympic diver, and he's got this ability to do things that people believe he can't do, right? And there was at one point there was I think it was a Chinese diver, and he wanted to be able to pair up with him, and they said, no, you can't pair up with him. He's just too good for you. It's not going to work out. But in his mindset was, I'm going to pair up with him. These people don't believe in me, but I'm going to make it happen. It was like, watch me. Do you have that same mindset? Like, and I know a bit about your injuries, and we're going to get into that, because through the adversity and not being able to come back, or, you know, certain things holding you back, what's that mindset like for you? Is it one where you go, you know what, I'm just going to do this, people don't believe in me? Obviously your dad does, he's your coach, but there's probably a lot of other people doubting you. What goes through your mind at that point? Yeah,
definitely. When you were talking about Sam before, I saw, so the Sydney Marathon was just on, and I saw a video of I'm blanking on her name, the lady that finished first. She broke the Australian record, and someone filmed it and had a quote as the caption saying, when humans chase the impossible, it makes us realize what's possible. And it just made me think of what Sam was doing, and I think that's really cool, is that you can do it no matter what, if you believe. I think for me, there's been a few different challenges. I may have taken different career paths than a lot of 22-year-olds would have. I'm living a very different life than what a lot of 22-year-olds do, and I'm very grateful for that. But I grew up in a house where my mum, she was the first woman to get a master's and a degree in sports law in the world, and she also doesn't use it. She's not interested in law. She's working now in this agency that helps brands become sustainable. She's doing something she loves. My dad, he left his sport to become a creative, and now he's got this amazing brand. So I think I see a world where it's so many different chapters you can live, and if you want to go do something, you can do it. And if you don't, there's so many other avenues as well. So there's so many paths and things that you can take. So it's like, yeah, just go for it. And if something doesn't happen, and if it doesn't work out, then I'd rather have tried and failed than to have never known. Yeah. You know, so I think that's my mindset around pushing limits and how I want to work and how I want to be seen, and my work ethic is, if I don't do it, I'll never know. So let's just give it a crack. And that, I think, is why I was able to get where I got in skiing, and even outside of skiing, in terms of how injured I've been over the past few years and what I've had to battle with, and being able to find careers outside of skiing that I've loved as well, that I didn't think I'd ever be this passionate about, is the same thing as, hey, okay, let's just try and see what happens if we do this as well.
Wow. Yeah, and you know the South by Southwest that you're doing with your dad, right? And I think you said the title's There Is No Plan B.
Kick the shit out of Plan B.
Yeah. And I guess I just want to clarify on what that means. Like, you gave it 100% in your sport, like your dad in cricket, but then he said, well, I'm pivoting to this. I'm going to use this platform of what I've been able to utilise in sport and be able to go into marketing, right? And obviously to be a spokesperson on South by Southwest, and your dad is also helping the brand Utah Jazz. Most sports people have no idea how to pivot and utilise their strengths or, you know, who they've become in the sport. It seems like your dad's instilled that in you guys really, really well. You know, like, give it 100%. If this doesn't work out, you know, there's going to be something. And we were talking about journalism and what you want to be able to do there. Because I'm going to come back to some of the injuries and how it impacted you and what was your mindset during that process. But sport's not forever, right?
Yeah.
And really, if you look at it, even as a cricketer, even at your best, you're probably going to get to your mid-30s. And if you're in the top tier of the 0.1, you probably might get to 40 if you're extremely lucky. Skiing, like a freestyle skier, what's the lifeline of that?
It's not very long.
Yeah.
I think the oldest on the tour right now, she just turned 30. There was Sylvia Battagna. I think she retired around 33 maybe. And she's amazing. She was like the big sister on the tour. We all adored her. But yeah, it's not very long. I think your body can only take as many hits as we do and we do take some slams. So it's not long.
Like, you watch it, you see people get injured. Like, you actually watch it on TV all the time.
Yeah.
That impact.
Well, even if you're not crashing, you're still all day 70-foot jump, 70-foot jump, 70-foot jump.
Yeah.
So yeah, your body can't take it as long as we all wish we could. But we do prolong it. I think that now athletes are lasting a lot longer in the sport because of research in the gym, nutrition, getting stronger and being able to be as fit as we are. I think it used to be a lot of people didn't realise that it wasn't just a holiday. You know, we're athletes now. Yeah. It's an Olympic sport. These guys are Olympians. They're chasing gold medals. So we're in the gym day in, day out, watching what we eat, training on and off the snow just as much as we would on the snow.
Now, take me back to your first injury. How old are you?
Oh man, my list of injuries is
Give
actually
me the first
crazy.
one, because like, I'm a dad, right?
Injury.
I don't like seeing my daughters like hurt, right? I've got two girls. So I just want to...
I reckon probably my first one that really, really would have rattled my parents was I broke my collarbone, which is fine, but the crash itself was really bad. I knocked myself out for a few minutes. And I had like this 3-minute memory thing going on where every 3 minutes I'd be like, where am I? What's happened? And then would remember again and then again, be like, hey, what are we doing here? Where am I? Why does my shoulder hurt? Like, my concussion was so bad. It took all the skin off my face.
Wow.
It was a really bad crash, and I think that probably really rattled my parents for a while. And then a broken collarbone. But yeah, I've had multiple broken bones.
How old? What around circa? Like, what age were you at that?
That was my 16th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, I've injured myself on my
16th
birthday every time I go skiing. So I now don't ski on my birthday.
So you got no great birthday photos, especially that one.
Yeah, that one's terrible. I'll show you after.
We're gonna have to see it. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to put that on camera. You know, when you're competing at a young age, obviously you're traveling a lot internationally. Were your parents there for all of it, or did you have to be on your own for a lot of it as well?
No, so we skied, like I said, we just skied recreationally. My parents loved the mountains. They loved having their kids outdoors in nature. So we were doing holidays we went away to Lake Tahoe in California as a family for a holiday, went skiing for a few weeks. And I met Eileen Gu, who's now like the second richest female athlete in history. Like, she's broken so many records. She's incredible. So I met her when I was 12 and she was like, hey, there's a rail jam, a competition going on. I was like, I've never done a competition before. She's like, come along this weekend, like, let's go ski. And I also met who's still one of my best friends now, Maria Adams. And the three of us, there's obviously not many girls in skiing park. There is now, which is amazing. But back then it was us three at the competitions. And they took me under their wing and they were like, this is Comp World, like, come have a ski. It's so much fun. And I podiumed. I think there was a few other girls, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, got on the podium and I qualified, did a few events, qualified for the USASA Nationals. So that's the junior US competitions, and did really well at those. And then from then on, that's kind of when sponsors saw who's this little Australian girl at the US Nationals. I was the only girl that did a flip at the competition, so I got inverted. And I think because of that, a lot of people kind of noticed me for standing out and doing something different that the other girls didn't. And then that's how I got on the Australian team. So originally we started traveling as a family. And then I realised, hey, this is something that I could actually do. I really want to get good at it. The Australian team picked me up. And from then on, my parents still would come to some things if I had big events, but then COVID hit. Yeah. So during COVID, I was away overseas and couldn't really get back to Australia. So I was travelling with the team then by myself, yeah.
How hard was that? I mean, like during COVID where you couldn't, move from the countries that you were in, if you were in Europe, people in Canada, it's not like how old were you then?
Feel like it was 16 to 18 COVID. Wow. It was like 2 years, wasn't it?
What was that like?
It was a lot. It was so much. 'Cause I was doing high school, trying to qualify for the Olympics, and then, traveling. And then I blew my knee during COVID as well. So I was stuck overseas after blowing my knee. So, yeah, there was a lot. But it was amazing. I mean, there wasn't many people in the world that were traveling during COVID. Yeah. What a blessing that was. Like, it was incredible. It was probably the most, beneficial 2 years I ever had on snow. I progressed the best I had ever skied. I was qualifying for the Olympics, was traveling. It was pretty incredible. So,
and that was without your parents around, because obviously they couldn't come and see you. How did you handle that? Because I was watching this story about Thierry Henry, and I think he was stuck in Canada as a soccer player, and he was stuck in Canada for a year, and he goes it was the worst period of his life because he couldn't get to see his kids, he couldn't get to see anyone. Like, what? Were you in that? Let me ask you a question. So here's what I want to ask you. I'll reframe it. Were you in the mindset of like, hey, I can really knuckle down right now and really pursue my dreams?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I had my parents at the end of the phone anytime. And I also know that if I go, this is bullshit, I can't do this, I'm over this, I don't want to be here, that it's not the end of the world, and my parents will help me get back to Australia at the drop of a hat. So it's like, I think I was definitely homesick and I definitely missed them, and it was a lot. But I had coaching, I had team support with me. It was, there was a lot of support around, and my parents were just the end of a phone call away. And I think that's what made it really easier. But it was definitely challenging. Do you know Malcolm Gladwell? He's got a podcast. He's a writer. Yeah. I think he's a professor as well. He had a podcast episode. I really like his stuff. He's a genius. He did an episode where he interviewed two people about he thinks parents shouldn't be involved in kids sport. He's like, parents don't need to be involved in kids sport. And I completely disagree. I actually sent him emails. I was like, put me on your podcast. I want to argue this, because I am the complete opposite. I think that you don't have the Williams sisters. You don't have Kelly Silderies. You don't have Eileen Goose. You don't have LeBron James without their mum cheering them on the sideline, and being in their corner. So
why would he say that?
Because I think that it was the argument that they're too intense. Parents are too intense on kids' sideline soccer games. It's just a kid, let them have fun. And I get that. I understand that as well. There's two arguments to the conversation, and it was he made points, but I'm very pro have your parents there, have your loved ones around, have your team. So I think that for me, I knew that they were always going to be there at the end of a phone call. If I needed to go home, I could. And I definitely probably missed them. I found it difficult doing school, everything balancing. But, I was chasing my dreams. I was, You
were just focused.
Kicking the shit out of plan A at that point. So,
No, I love that. I want to talk about injury recovery and resilience. What type of resilience do you need? When you're going so well, you're kicking the shit out of plan A, right? And you get injured. What type of resilience did you need during that process? And did you have a plan where you go, okay, I'm injured, this is what plan A for recovery looks like? Yeah,
I did. So I'd qualified for Beijing Olympics and just blew my knee right before then, came home and was rehabbing. It was a full knee reconstruction, meniscus, ACL, MCL, PCL, LCL. It was over a year, a full reco. So it was over a year of rehab. It took me about 16 months before I was back on skis.
Wow.
It was a lot. And during the time I was so strict with myself, my training, my eating, and I know that you have to be as an athlete, but honestly when I look back and I think of the mental health effects of losing your sport, losing your friends, your community for a year and a half, what you love, and the Olympics, like it's like a breakup. It's a breakup with your sport for a while. A year and a half's a long time. And I look back and I think that if anything, my biggest takeaway from a rehab like that is just to be kind to yourself. Like that shit is so hard. It is so hard on your mental health. It is, and I definitely wasn't kind to myself through a lot of it. And I love the saying, be kind to yourself in the times when you think you least deserve it. And that to me is, through rehab, it's like, I didn't do this to myself. I'm doing the work I can, but like, let's just try and make the most of it and enjoy it and find little things that we can celebrate throughout it. So yeah, my biggest takeaway is just be kind to yourself. You're an athlete. Yeah, you're going to be, we're our biggest critics.
Who
we
did
don't
you
always
learn that
need to
from?
be.
Mate, there's so much wisdom in just that part.
That was a quote that I heard. I don't know where I read that. I'm very I remember quotes.
Yeah.
I read one thing and I'm like, that's sticking with me.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I read
But
it from
you're
though.
big into self-development because I'm talking here. You're 22 years old. Like you can, I can tell you've done a lot of, inner works to understand, what you have to do in this situation. Like it doesn't, a lot of the works where you're developing yourself, you have to listen to something. You got to look at quotes. You got to look at other sports people. You got to look at people that have been through what you've been through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't remember where I read that quote, but I was obsessed, like seriously so obsessed with my rehab that I wouldn't go see friends. I wouldn't do things outside of it. And I had on every mirror, on every notebook, I had all these quotes like, you'll get better, like be better, do better. And I was like, my parents one day were like, that is just so unnecessary. Like you're doing the best you can. Like stop just it's toxic. It's not actually helping you in any way. And I was like, okay, maybe you're right. Like this isn't actually helping. And then that quote came up and it was like that. I think that was the biggest lesson I learned was just be kind to yourself through it because it's tough and you can only do so much. Yeah, you just had a full knee reconstruction, Yeah. And go and have fun. You don't need to. I think there's a lot of you turn on your phone now. I don't know whatever the algorithm's like, but I turn on my phone and it's like, get up at 4:30, do better, be better, read this many books. And it's like, oh, bro, I just want to watch. Let me sit down for a second. And I think I was definitely in that mentality and I don't think that that's sustainable. Yeah.
And social media has really made it hard for a lot of people because we start to compare ourselves with other people's lives. The person that's getting up at 4, the person that's going out and crushing it. Look at your dad, he's a high achiever. I mean, you see it firsthand, right? So it does put a lot of pressure, and you're right. You got to take a step back sometimes to the fundamentals, the basics, right?
Definitely.
And I think a lot of the times we're in this rush mode, but we don't go back. Just let's go back to the basics. Let's just keep this simple. We don't have to rush. We can still get there, but we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves at this point.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm guilty of that myself. I'm very, very guilty.
I think we all are. Everyone is. I think I don't think it's a bad thing either. I think if you want to achieve things like what you've got, it's amazing. And I want to work towards goals, and you need to have that accountability and ambition was the word you used earlier. And everyone's going to be hard on themselves. You've got to be, but you also do just need to be kind to yourself and remind yourself that.
And have a good time.
Yeah,
try and
exactly.
have a good time.
Yeah, that's so important.
Like even when Tyron mentioned your name, you know what we're doing? I remember there was a day we killed ourselves in the gym. It was 2 or 3 sessions in. And he goes, Mets, can we have a drink with all the people? And I said, fuck, Tyron. I don't want to get these guys down the wrong path. Because, mate, it's this unbelievable Grey Goose. And it was probably one of the best ones I had. It had a bit of flavour. And to be honest, that night we had a great time. And we woke up and we weren't tanked, but we were just grateful for the moment, We said, you know what, we can kick back. We've done all the hard work. Let's kick back a little bit, And so I think as a sports person, as a business owner, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be at the highest level. And there's a lot of parallels between sports and business. And we sometimes don't know how to take a step back and just breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just breathe. No, I totally agree with that. Now, I've seen you kill it in the gym as well. Like you get in here, you love your training. Like training and lifestyle, like what does a typical training block look like for you now? We talked about Milan in 2026 in February next year. What does this next period look like for you?
Yeah. So for me, unfortunately, I just had my 3rd knee surgery.
Wow.
So I won't be qualifying for Milan Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm too far down on the ranking. I don't have enough points, and for me to, it just wouldn't work with my knee. But I'm still in the gym. It's like an outlet for me, honestly. I don't think I'd ever not be in the gym and exercising. But yeah, I'm rehabbing. So at the moment, I think that's around 4 strength sessions in the gym and 3 cardio sessions a week.
Yeah.
And then recovery, which this place is awesome for. Your saunas and your ice baths, my God, I
Yeah.
love. So, yeah, for me, it's...
And the compressions.
Oh, my God, yeah, the compressions. I used those like 2 weeks... last week was I here
Look,
with
Miff,
them
I
on.
knew you were coming.
So you
and I
got
said,
them out for me.
Because you got to remember, when you just signed up, we didn't have all those areas.
Yeah.
Like when you started training here. Yeah, so...
No, it's awesome.
So that's still part of your routine, right?
Yeah,
now.
gym and recovery. I think it always will be. I fell in love with it. When I blew my knee, I was fit. I was strong. I was just generally in the gym. But when I had that big knee injury and rehabbed, and I was like, wow, I feel so strong. I feel so good. And there's a lot of things around women's bodies in sport where we don't like to just generalizing is we don't want to be as big as we need to be or as strong as we need to be. And I was definitely in that bubble when I blew my knee. And now I'm like, I just want to feel strong. I want to be able to fuel myself to be able to have this training load that I have on and off the snow. So yeah, I just think it's a mindset shift. And now I just love being healthy and strong in the gym. It's awesome. I feel very powerful.
And it's so important for your mindset too, right? Isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
even if you said, you know what, I'm going to journalism or whatever you choose, how important is like having a routine and being in the gym for your mental state?
Oh, so much. I am a massive routine person and I love habits. I fall into bad habits. I fall into good habits. I'm very habitual. So it's like, for me, I journal every day. That's something that I picked up when I was knee rehabbing the first time, and I've journaled since then. I've kept them all as well. I got stacks and stacks of journals that I filled out. It's awesome. And gym, movement and nutrition. It's just things, it's finding the things like the values that make you feel good. You go, okay, for me, it's early mornings. I love mornings. I love my cup of coffee. I love to write in my journal. I love to move my body. I love to go for a walk. I love to eat dinner with people that I love. So it's like, it's just finding these things that go, oh, that made me feel good. It fills my cup. Those things. And that for me is movement. So just having those routines and keeping yourself accountable to feel good is awesome.
How long have you been journaling for?
Since I blew my knee, so about 3.5 years.
And how much has it evolved? How much has it changed? Like, you know, when you first started journaling, you know, you're probably just dumping everything that's in your head. Has it evolved? Has it changed? Is it you know, obviously, as you're getting older, your goals are changing. How does it look like now?
Yeah, I actually think I journaled before I blew my knee. When you asked that question, I journaled before that because I used to write what I was going to do on skis that day. So it would be goal orientated, whether it's I'm going up to land this massive trick today, or it's I'm going up to focus on slowing my motion on a takeoff, like just little things. So I'd always do that just to keep myself accountable in snow. And I'm just a very goal orientated person. I like to tick things off. So that worked for me. But then when I blew my knee, it became more of a brain dump and just writing out my emotions, putting things on a piece of paper, making me feel good, keeping goals as well in the gym. This is how my knee feels today, keeping tallies of everything. And since then, it's just evolved to something that I do every morning, whether it's for 30 minutes or whether it's for 3 minutes. I write down what I'm doing today, what the focus is, what would make today great, what I'm grateful for.
What's going to make today great?
What's going to make today great?
Yeah.
I said today would be great if I get some movement in because I've been really sick the past few days, so I haven't exercised. So today would be great if I can get some light movement and go for a walk or go do some yoga and stretching and things like that. It would be a great day if I can do that.
I like that
just
one.
Just little things like that.
I haven't been the best too, Miff. I was almost in a coughing fit on the last podcast, so I know what it feels like.
Yeah, everyone's like it. And I'm terrible at resting. So I'm the same. Sick, and then I went back too early, and now I'm like sicker. I'm like, oh,
That's
God.
what happened to me. When I got back from Europe, had to go to Melbourne. Just made it with some cold and flu tabs. Thought I was okay. Started training hard. Had a couple of drinks.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And then 2 weeks later, I was just gone. But
yeah, well, we were supposed to do this podcast last week, and I was like,
I was actually happy you pulled out. I wasn't the best.
Like,
yeah,
I'm
but
out.
it's hard. Like, you know, when you're a high achiever and you love training and you love working, it's like even like the day you just feel a little bit better, it's like it's on.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what I
but
mean?
you actually, I think sometimes you need to take that day
You have
as
to.
chill.
It's so hard.
Yeah,
It's so
that's
hard.
why I say I'm like, it'd be great if I go for a walk.
That's the
and chill out.
best.
Yes.
That's the best. You know, when you go for a walk, you actually feel good.
Yeah.
You're getting oxygen,
Get some
you're getting
sunlight.
sunlight. We got sunlight for a change.
I don't usually sound like this, listeners. I just don't have a voice.
Yeah, you don't want, mine's a bit husky as well. I actually don't mind it, so it sounds a bit like Sean Connery. But anyway, so that's amazing. I love it. You know, you journal, you write down things that you need to do. You're goal orientated, but you love yourself. And like, what I mean by that is, don't be too hard on yourself all the time.
Yeah.
So you've learned a lot in that area. So I love that. And you know, one of the areas I want to talk about, you know, we talk about, you know, pivoting, and we talk about, you know, your passions in journalism and being in front of the camera and all that kind of stuff. Content creation and public profile, like how important is that for you now?
It's huge. So I have managers now in social media. I've had managers since I was about 15, and I moved management company to the Gifted Group 2.5 years ago probably. Oh my God, I adore them. They're pretty onto me about my social media, my content, and trying to get stuff out there. And I think, like I said before, the great thing about my sport is there's so many avenues you can take it. It's not just competition skiing. So even when I'm injured now, I can still get content out there for people to see and engage with, and you can work with brands and keep skiing as kind of a business for you, even when you're not fit enough to be competing at your top level. So that's really cool. And then speaking and public speaking and journalism, that goes back to this South by Southwest talk that we're doing called Kick the Shit Out of Plan B. So I'll backtrack a bit to when I blew my knee. I'd qualified for the Olympics, came home, obviously wasn't competing, had just had full knee reconstruction, and I got an email from Channel 7 saying, "Hi, we've heard you're injured. Do you want to come and try out to commentate the Winter Olympics?" And I was like, ain't no way. I was like, no way am I talking to a country on TV about my sport. One, I'll probably cry the whole time because I just want to be there. I was like, no chance am I doing that. And my dad was like, come on, you should do it. Your mum was like, come on. I was like, nah, no way. And one afternoon, so my mum's best friend, we call her Auntie Lucy, she lives over in Amsterdam. She's the VP of Nike Europe. She's amazing. She's incredible. I adore her. She sent me a text message saying, hey, your mum had just told me that Channel 7 reached out and blah, blah, blah. So sorry about everything that's happened, but go and kick the shit out of Plan B. It was in the text message. And I was like, oh, what else am I going to do? Like, let's just go try out. I probably won't even get the job. I've never done any commentating for. I don't even know how it works. Did the rehearsal and got the job. A few days later, they called me and they're like, you're in. Let's do it with me. You're at Melbourne. So I went over for 2 weeks and commentated some events through them, and since then I was like, oh my God, this world is amazing. I love this, and I love sport, and I love storytelling, and I love why people become athletes and why are they as good at what they do, and how can I share that story of another athlete. And I found this avenue through that, and that's what it comes to, is like, a lot of people think that, oh, I'm Mia the skier, and it's like, no, I'm Mia who skis, who also has other avenues and other passions and other career paths. So it's like, I'm committed to my skiing and I love skiing. And I think a lot of athletes tie themselves to that. It's that their identity is their sport, and we're not. There's a lot more to that. And I think that's what's so cool about finding journalism and finding social media and content, is that there's other ways for me to live my life than just skiing. And I think that's important.
I love it. You know, being creative and storytelling. Like, we all learn through stories. Like, I can remember the first time I heard your name. You know what I mean? And and it was a story between how me and Tyron communicate. You know, and how much we respect one another. And it's so important to sort of embrace, you know, opportunities even sometimes when you're not ready. Sometimes you can't see it. You know, I think. One thing, if I look at my life, and I started in the fitness industry when I was 21, I'm turning 49 this year. You know, when I started, I was thrown in the deep end and I had to learn everything. I don't have the experience that I have now, that's for sure. But, you know, there was points of it where, you know, I possibly I threw myself in when I didn't have the ability at times. And then as I got older, I had the ability, but I didn't have the belief, because you start to second guess yourself more. Like, when you're young, you're going to do all these flips. As you get older and you've copped a few hits, it's like, fuck, I got to be careful because you get in two minds. And, you know, even when I started this podcast, what I love doing it is because I've sat down with so many people and my relationship's completely different because we talk about things we'd never talk about. Like I'm starting to get to learn you more, and I'm absolutely loving it because at your age, at 22, it's amazing just how mature you are. You know, and every time I sit down with someone here, I learn so much about them, and it sort of gives me this ability to go, fuck, man, let's have another crack. You know, and it's great when you're around good people, like you spoke about your auntie in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That you just needed that phone call.
Yeah, totally.
You already had the ability. You just didn't believe in yourself, and then you done it, and it was like, wow, I'm good at it. And it's always that one little push or someone else's voice. Sometimes it's not our parents, it's this other voice.
Yeah, definitely.
And it just screams at you, and it just makes you take action. I'm glad you did because, like, even just talking to you here, like you're super talented, and I love it. I love it.
Thank you. I think like what you're saying is you can never see anything going forward, but when you look back, you can always connect the dots and be like, okay, I love the saying, like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm not religious. I didn't grow up religious or anything, and I think it's just a nice way to feel comfortable. And this is a scenario that I don't want to be in, but there's going to be something out of it. And it's like, I didn't want to miss the Olympics. I didn't want to blow my knee, but looking back, I may not have been ready for the Olympics. And now I've got all these other opportunities and meet new people, and I'm doing this and having this conversation because of it. And I think it's just a nice way to kind of look at something. Yeah. It happened for a reason.
I look at timelines. Like sometimes, and I've been able to do this really well lately, and it's just given me greater insight into, say, my life, right? Like sometimes in a timeline you go, fuck, 2 years ago I should have been able to pick that out. And then I go, you know what, if I picked it out 2 years ago, we actually weren't ready to do this.
Yeah.
And so now I'm looking at all these timelines and about my whole life, and I can almost pinpoint why I went well, why I didn't go well, why something didn't work out well, why I failed. And I used to get down on myself a lot, but then when I looked at it, I go, the team wasn't ready or the business wasn't ready to take this next leap. And, you know, and now when I look at the future timeline, I go, wait a second, now I understand what needs to be in place to get to this, to reach this. So I understand the plan a bit more in my head, and it's probably because I'm a little bit older and I've experienced so much in business where, you know, we failed, we done well, we failed, we were locked down for COVID for 7. COVID was the worst thing for me, but also the best thing because I lost my safety net, right? So everything was like going along, but I lost this safety net of, fuck, everything can be taken away in an instant. And when we were closed for 7 months, we pretty much went down to, like, I was all about to quit. This would have never happened, this podcast, right? And I was like in this mindset of like, man, I've just lost half my members. I don't even have a team. I've lost 2 teams. I'm only 4 people in the team. And we were copping so much from the media. The police were in here every single day checking everyone's, you know, COVID license. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to myself, I worked all my life for this. And I never forget, because we only had 4 staff, they were always getting sick, so I had to work every shift. So I was only on my own. You think about how many people got running the business.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
so
crazy.
I'm sitting there, 50% less members, trying to make ends meet, and I'm second guessing myself right now. And I'm going, I got, what do I do here? And there was offers for us to leave as well. And I'm there, and I never forget, I went home one day and I said to my wife, I said, fuck, I don't know if I could do this anymore, Susie. And my kids are there, and my kids were a bit younger. They were both in high school. They were looking at me and go, but Titan Fitness is all we've ever known, Dad. You've done it since like 1998. And it was at that point, my wife didn't say much, but it was at that point I go, get back up, get back in there and start working. And sometimes, you know, in these timelines, and what I realised was, I go, if we look at life, it's just we've only got our actions.
Yeah. Right?
We can't bank on whether anything's going to be taken away from us. I said, what new skill sets do I need? Right? and how much more valuable do I need to become? Because I've just seen right now I'm about to quit. All right, I said it's not a good place to be. But when you looked at the kids and they go, we've only known this, and you need that emotion sometimes. And to be honest, like the gym didn't look like this during that time. I've changed every floor. I've redone every area. I just said, fuck, like I'm not going to swear, but I said, I'm going for it.
I've probably sworn a few times.
No, I'm trying not to swear. I swear too much off camera. But I said, I'm just going to go for it, and I'm never going to second guess myself, and I'm never going to leave any stone unturned anymore. I go, that's not me anymore. And to be honest, before COVID, that was me, right? And when COVID happened, I said, why me? Yeah. And then I switched from that, and I said, this is not going to, I go, I don't care what happens anymore. I'm going to give 100%. And I was almost kidding myself that I was giving 100%. Even though I was working, I don't believe I was working the way, because I looked at the timeline of my whole life. It was like everything flashed before me. Everything. And I'll never forget, like when my dad passed away, his last conversations were, mate, just keep it simple and work hard. Just keep it simple and work hard. And that was one of the biggest takeaways. And like listening to you right now, I'm loving your story, because you're way ahead of me at 22 in terms of how you're thinking, right? And I can see a huge amount of talent. And even when I was sitting with Sam, he's telling me like he's only 23, and he was dyslexic, and I'm going, like, this guy's a freak as well. Like he's doing things that everyone said you couldn't do. So it's very, very important that we have those people around, like your auntie. It was my daughters. I just looked at him and I said, mate, I can't be this guy. I can't be this guy that feels sorry for myself right now. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was at probably one of the lowest points in my life, to be honest. And I'll never forget Tyron. I'll tell you a story about Tyron. Gym was shut down, right? And he rings me. I'm like, I reckon I went through the most emotions I've ever gone through during COVID. He rings me and he goes, and I'm thinking, fuck, what does he want? And he goes, bro, what do you need? I said, what do you mean, what do I need? He goes, how much money do you need? I said, mate, I don't need anything. He goes, bro, I'm right here. Whatever you need, I'm right here, yeah? I'm just telling you, because if you need something, Mets, I'm here for you. That one conversation just is like, fuck, I'm a bit stronger now.
Yeah.
I'm a bit stronger now. There's a bit more self-belief. So, it's so important. Like when you talk about your parents and you talk about your auntie, like these conversations and the people you're around with the talent that you have, like we probably got talent that we don't even realize we have. And sometimes there's other people that can see it, and it's just that one word that makes a difference. So it's huge.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me of that. That's why I love doing the podcast, because it just takes me back to those timelines.
No, it's cool. I always think I always remember this when I was skiing, because I used to come up with excuses of why I couldn't do something. It's too windy, it's too this, it's too that. And I used to tell myself you can only control the controllables. That's the same with this. You can't control COVID. I can't control blowing my knee. Can't control if my knee swells. I can't control if I don't get a job. But you can control showing up, working hard, hauling a mate, seeing how they are. It's just putting in the effort in the things that you can do, and what you can't do is just, it is what it is.
It is
just
100%.
move on, yeah.
100%. I totally agree with that. And sometimes we have to live in the moment and just understand that it's going to probably happen again. And we just have to have that same mindset to get out of it as well.
Yeah, you build the tools for it.
Yeah, you need the tools, man. And it's people around us that sometimes give us those tools, or they say, mate, you already got that tool in the bag. Can you just get it out?
Yeah.
You got the tool in the bag, man. Get it out. And it's so important that we have those individuals around us. Purpose, you're an advocate for climate change. You're about purpose. Like it's, bigger purpose. What does that mean? Like what is that? And where did that come from?
My purpose, where did it come from? Again, I think it's something instilled from my family. We need something to be passionate about. We need things that excite us. And for me, I've been given the opportunity to have a platform, to get to have these conversations, to get to have people listen to me. So why not share messages that I'm passionate about? Why not talk about the climate? Why not partner with brands that align with my views and my morals? And and to me that's climate, it's women in sport, supporting women, it's supporting people and humans, no matter where you come from, no matter what you do, no matter who you love. It's just working with brands that align with my values and sharing it online, like not being quiet about what I'm passionate about, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's instilled by my parents, I think. I know I'm pretty yappy. I'm kind of just I'll go on about what I'm passionate about and share it and talk about it. And yeah, climate's definitely a big one of those. My mum, like I said, she runs Design Declares, the Australian chapter of it, which she might be she probably won't listen to this, but she'll be like, oh, I don't know if that's right. But from my understanding, she's a lot smarter than me, is they make websites sustainable. So clean energy through websites and apps and design, and making design not just about how it looks, but how it affects the earth and the users that use it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but
she's gonna be like,
she makes everything sustainable.
Yeah.
She's all about sustainability.
Digital sustainability. I think something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's like I just grew up around people that are passionate and proud about what they do, and that's something I think that I get to see, so I get to learn from and do as well.
It's and you know what I love about you, your mum and dad have both been a huge
definitely
support in your life, but also it seems like they're people that you look up to a lot, you know. You know, and we talked about the importance of having that foundation, and obviously they've given. Have they done the same with obviously your siblings? Like giving the
definitely.
confidence?
Us three are so different.
Yeah.
Me and my brother and my sister, we're completely different.
What's your brother like compared to you?
My brother is, he's not quiet. He's just not, I'm probably like the crazy, annoying, mean sibling out of them all. He's kind. He's what's the word? Compassionate, empathetic.
Yeah, empathetic,
Yeah, he's a go-getter, but he's very chill. He's a very calm person, whereas I'm going to go get after it. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to do it. And he's just like, I'm just going to work hard and see what happens and meet people along the way. He's like everybody's best friend is 6'8". We call him the BFG.
How old is he?
He just turned 19.
19?
Yeah.
And he's in Nebraska playing basketball. Wow. Yeah.
And then my sister, she's 16. She's also really tall. She's about 6'2", 6'3".
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to me. I just didn't get the genes. But she's a creative. She's also good at sport, but takes it as seriously as us, maybe not as competitive as us. But she's a reader and a writer, and she loves to draw. Her room's full of art.
Wow.
Yeah, we're all very, very different. So we'd parent differently as well, for sure, and as we should be. But I think.
Does your younger sister travel with your parents? Was she traveling?
Yeah, she's in Nebraska right now so when my brother moved over 2 weeks ago, they all went over. Dad's over for work, and my mum and my sister went over with Kai to help him move in. Yeah. But they'll be back next week, I think.
Next week. Oh, cool. And so obviously we touched on a lot of the challenges that you've had with injuries. What are some of the life lessons and the future vision for MIF or MIA, Mia?
It's fun. Sometimes people are like, I've had someone come up to me before and I'm like, hey, I'm MIF, and they're like, oh, I met someone just like you called Mia. I'm like, that's me. I'm both. My life lessons from injuries. I always go back to the same thing we spoke about. Be kind to yourself in the times you least deserve it. Confidence comes from confidence. You know, do things that make you feel good. You're going to continue to go down and do things that you're excited about. So and future me, just continue to live a life that excites me. Like do things that scare me, open doors that I didn't think I ever would, and work in industries and meet people and who knows? I'm 22. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep skiing forever. I love it. I love it so much. Maybe the next Olympics after, I'll be 25, 26. So maybe then who knows?
Where is it at 26? Which country?
Paris.
Mm-hmm. Look, if you make it, I'm coming.
Yeah, let's do it. We can get a Titan crew together.
Mate, I've been to Paris before, so I would love to go back. I love Europe. So.
Paris is awesome.
And the winters there would be beautiful. Milan. Yeah. I've got to try and get there as well.
Yeah, it is.
You put Milan's it in my head
gorgeous,
now.
Especially in the Christmas.
the plan B. So tell me what this talk at Southwest. Give me a glimpse.
Kick the shit out of plan B. There's a saying. I literally, every time you ask me a question, I'm like, there's a saying.
Yeah.
But I always think that the longer you stay on the wrong train, the harder it is to get back on the right one. And sometimes I think it's very common for athletes to just be sitting here not knowing. I had this conversation with a friend the other day is, why do we continue to do things? Is it because our identity is tied to it? Is it because it makes sense to others? Does it still make sense to us? Why do we continue to do the things that we're doing if it doesn't fit anymore? And not that skiing doesn't fit anymore. It's not that at all. I will continue to ski forever. I love it. I will probably go back to competing very soon. But there's no reason to not jump on other avenues. And that for me was, I didn't want to ever not be Mia the skier. That's all I wanted to be, was Mia the skier, and that's not what it is. That's not how it should be either. So plan B for me was journalism, and now I'm sitting here skiing and reporting and going to basketball games and having conversations that I never thought I would do. So it's just not being afraid to take a step away from what you're doing, and your identity isn't tied to what you do. It's who you are and what you're passionate about. So finding ways to imply that.
Yeah. And it's very important to have different verticals in your life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So what you've done essentially is, hey, this is what I'm doing, but I'm going to create this vertical here. This is going to, help me in this career, but it's also going to give me a career afterwards. And if something happens, mate, it's here sitting, and I can utilize both. And you see it in sports a lot. Where, I've sat down with sports people, and some of them said, it's just plan A. It's just plan A. But I find that if it's just plan A, and you should focus on that, but you should have another vertical here that almost, helps plan A, right? Because if you're a spokesperson and you can manifest and you can visualize, you can visualize what you're going to do here, but you can also visualize what you're going to do for your sport. So I think it's very, very important that you've seen that, because I've seen a lot of people just put everything in a plan A, and when that fails, the whole life's just gone.
Yeah, and that's everything felt like it fell apart when I blew my knee, and it doesn't feel. I just had my third surgery, and I.
That's hard in itself, man. I don't know how you've done that. I'll take my hat off.
So much.
And you're only 22.
Ridiculous, yeah. My knee is so short, but I, for the first time after an injury, felt like my world had fallen apart, because there's other things. Yeah. And it's not just skiing, and I'm like, I was back skiing last week, which is amazing. I was back on snow, just cruising around with friends, but even then, I'm just so grateful to have been doing that, in the mountains with my ski mates. So, yeah, I think it's just finding what
I love it. Kick the shit out of plan B, Kenny. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done this podcast if we just had a plan A.
Yeah,
would have met someone like Miff, man, and this amazing story. Miff, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Like I felt like I really got to know you a lot more. I'm being honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I interviewed David Kidwell the other day, and it was a great conversation, and Luke Kennedy, and I was speaking to him 2 days ago, and we said, mate, we've got to speak at least. And the first time I met David Kidwell, and like I'm having a coffee with David Kidwell tomorrow. We're just talking about his coaching career at the Highlanders, and I would never have these relationships with these individuals if I didn't do it. Yeah. And talking to Luke Kennedy about fatherhood, about his passion and what he wants to be. They're just great conversations, and that's why I love doing podcasting. But I remember I was talking to Sam, and she goes, "What do you think of Miff's voice today?" I said, "Mate, it's as good as my one right now." So I go, it's gonna work.
I think it got worse on the way here.
But she said, Miff's worried about where you're going to take her. I go, mate, we're just going to have a conversation. Yeah. I just wanted to learn about her, and that's what I love about it. And the great takeaway I've learned from you here today, like, kick the shit out of plan B as well, right? You got a plan A, but kick the shit out of plan B, get everything out of it. What I loved about your story is the foundations of your family, just how successful your parents are as well, and for those parents out there, the support network is absolutely necessary, and you don't have to be as talented as your parents, but you can also instill in your kids belief. You can instill, hey, you know, if it doesn't work out, we're here for you, right? And I think it's so important, you know, as a parent, to understand those, you know, those messages that you know you've talked about today, and just your achievements, and you know, it's inspiring, and I just want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very kind. No, thank you for having me. It was a really fun chat.
Yeah, and I'll see you in the underground, in the gym, walking, using the boots, and
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank
Smith.
you.